Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather, and I'm so excited for Mindset Monday.
Oh, I am beginning to really love Mindset Mondays. Not only because it's a great way to start the week, but it helps me move forward in a positive direction.
You're starting to see that difference. I remember when that happened for me. Yeah.
Getting started on Mondays.
It's so nice to know that no matter what happens over the weekend, that we're going to start the week with our minds going in the right direction, where we want to go, where we decide
to take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that word.
I got goosebumps when I said it.
Okay, so this week's Yoga Sutra's topic is Ahimsa, or nonviolence and compassion. And the quote this week is, "It is quite proper to resist an attack system. But to resist and attack its author is tantamount to resisting and attacking oneself. To slight a single human being is to slight the divine powers within us, and thus harm not only that being, but with him the whole world." And that's from Gandhi.
We've been talking about, we talk about so much about how when we're reacting to someone, it's about our own reactions. And so for reacting to someone, we're actually reacting to that part of us, right?
Yes.
And we're going to get into that more during our book week in July. But
there's actually a part of this chapter that I wanted to read to you guys today, because I think it is that important. I have my bookmark in here somewhere.
It was the B one.
Okay.
There it is.
Ahimsa can be applied toward ourselves as well, or nonviolence and compassion. For example, if you do something wrong, do not beat yourself up about it or regret it for a long time. Be compassionate and kind to yourself and learn from the experience. Remember, how we treat ourselves will influence our treatment of others. Right? Hurting people hurt people. You guys have heard that before. But also, putting positive energy out into the world has positive effects.
Right.
It's a positive ripple as opposed to a negative one.
I recently had an experience where we left the card at home and we went grocery shopping. And I already have a lot of anxiety when going to pay for food. And but you get into your groove, right? You figure it out. And as long as my cards are where they're supposed to be, I'm pretty cool. Like, I got this, right? Like these are the things, they need to be where they belong. And I'm like, I went to grab my card and I was like, I have no idea where it is. I was like, hey, sorry, we'll be right back. So I then was so the emotion of shame came out.
Embarrassment, shame. Yeah.
In just such a negative way. And I immediately snapped out of it, which was exciting. I didn't stay in it, but I was so like, where did that come from? Like, I would never talk to my child like that.
Past trauma. That's
right.
Where it came from, right?
Like, it was just so like, whoa. And then I was just like thinking about it, because we went home, got the card, came back. There was really no big deal about it. Like, this happens. Obviously, it happens. Life happens.
Right. And I actually experience those emotions every single time I go to pay for something with my card. And that is part of the reason why I like to carry my weekly cash with me. One, it helps me stay on budget. And two, I know exactly how much I have to spend.
And I have that trauma of the card being declined.
So back in 2009, when the market crashed in 2009, I lost my house, both my cars, and I had several credit cards at the time, and everybody decided that they wanted me to pay them all at the same time. And I had I got out of the military literally like 3 months before the market crashed. So I hadn't gotten a job yet. Right. And then there weren't any available because nobody was hiring. And so anyway, long story short, financial trauma ensued.
Mm-hmm.
There were times where we'd go to scan our card at the store and got denied. And both my kids were little at the time. It's like, I can't feed these little kids because I can't manage my finances. And it was this whole financial trauma thing because we lost literally everything,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And yeah, so I still panic about that a little bit.
They're really great too at the grocery store because they'll do $5.38 on this card. And like sometimes it's that kind of a month. Like you just use up the last of everything and everywhere. But it is knowing.
Or those few days before payday.
Right.
Like that's like you're like, I really don't need to go, but I really need a gallon of milk and some eggs just to help me over for a couple of days or whatever that looks like. So anyway,
right.
Yeah, financial trauma is a thing. Okay, thoughts. It requires more courage to be nonviolent than to condone or participate in violence. Ooh. So when I think about that, I am reminded of Dr. Martin Luther King. He was
talk about courageous,
right?
Like if you wanted to like embody courage, how brave and how much courage it took to stand up for what's right. And to be nonviolent, so nonviolent
about it. I also think of this famous image of the one person standing in front of the tank. And you guys could, there's a lot of background on that, but these are moments of courage that are completely nonviolent, because I think that person was holding like a bag of groceries, and they just stood there and they stood firm in their belief. And it's just amazing.
In teaching this, teaching these kinds of things to our children, my stepson actually stopped a fight by literally him and his friend just standing in between the two people. Like, no, this is not how we're going to behave. And and they don't tell you that, of course, when you're on the phone, right? They're like, your child's involved with a fight. And then, all the way to school, you're like, why are you fighting?
Your mom
the anger,
sets in, right?
The panic sets in. But it was really nice to hear your kids are doing the right things, because they're just doing that. They're having the courage to just step in and
stand
say
firm
no
in their beliefs and step in and say no and be nonviolent about it, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I alone am responsible for my thoughts, words, and actions. That's something that we need to remember as a society. We are responsible.
I'm in charge of me.
You're in charge of you.
Fine.
Okay. I will practice loving kindness and refrain from harming others. It is really easy to practice loving kindness, because, it's about compassion, having compassion for other people. And who are the most compassionate people you know? The ones who have been through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Because they understand from a personal standpoint on maybe a little bit about what other people are going through. And they understand that it's not about you.
Right.
Their actions toward you, or it's not about you, it's about them.
And sometimes that's hard because they push that button.
Right. It is so hard.
I definitely have examples for like every one of these situations.
I know.
But that takes us right into the mindset topic for the week, which is say yes to new experiences. And the quote is from Tina Fey. It says, say yes and you'll figure it out afterwards. So don't be afraid to say yes to new things because you're coming from fear. It's good for your brain because it helps you create new neural pathways. It keeps your brain fresh and happening, but kind of that doing something new that isn't, like, because there's a lot of us that have anxiety and trauma and things. So there's like a foundation, a practice of anxiety. So I try to think of that part, like a new situation, as remembering to not bring anxiety into it. Like to be open to the new experience and open so things don't have to go a certain way.
Well, is it that something somebody said or we read or something about fear and excitement feels the same?
Yes.
Like in our bodies, fear and excitement feel the same.
So the body doesn't know the difference.
So you have to ask yourself the questions. Am I really afraid? What exactly am I afraid of? Or am I just being anxious? Because I'm excited.
I call it nerve-sighted.
Think of it as like going on a roller coaster. Some of you may hate roller coasters. Some of you may really enjoy them, right? But it's
think about what the body,
excitement and things
right?
like that.
And then the body's going to go, wee. It's going to go through this motion. So a new experience is going to have a flow to it, right? There's going to be new sensations. There's going to be new emotional things. It's brand new.
Right.
And that's okay.
Maybe that's why they call it an emotional roller coaster.
Oh my gosh.
So say yes to new experiences, enjoy the ride along the way, and find your, you might just find your joy.
Right.
Who knows if some of these new experiences are going to lead to something more or connect you with people that maybe you wouldn't have connected to before.
Right.
So
some of the, ideas behind, to help you say yes is understanding why you're saying no. Why are you saying no to something? A lot of times I'm saying no to something because I'm not on the same page. Like, I don't know what it is, even like, especially my kid, like, the answer is no until I have more information. Usually, like, we need to talk about it. Attach a new experience to a goal. So if you're doing something like making a new experience the reward, or working towards a new experience, like people are really amazing and they'll train themselves for half marathons. And that's like working towards the new experience. Like, so there's steps along the way to introduce you to the process.
Right. And for example, Heather and I are working really hard behind the scenes right now because we're preparing to take some time off this summer with our kids. We don't know what that vacation is going to look like yet, but we're really excited about it.
Yeah, time off.
Time
Who
off.
does that?
Who does? I don't know.
So when you decide to try something new, block out the noise, block out, that negative cycle, or
That negative self-talk.
Is it self-talk? Is it people around you? Like, what is it? Block it out.
Right.
I always say clean up that feed. Start small. So start, don't make like climbing to the top of Mount Everest your first hike. Like, you got to start small with smaller hikes and, grow to the bigger ones. So start small, and always like a new experience. If it's just a day trip experience, you can come home and sleep comfortably in your bed. So sometimes that's a security net.
Yeah. And to make an experience like a whole day experience is kind of fun. Like last week I took B to Portland for her birthday. She turned 18. She's an official adult, and she didn't want to go do the typical I'm 18 now, let's go party, check out the clubs kind of thing. That's not her jam. She wanted to go to Pal Books, which is a huge bookstore. It's like 4 stories and it's an entire city block in Portland.
There's a map.
There's a map.
There's a map for the bookstore. Like it's huge. If you like books at all, this is like the place to
Right.
destination.
Or if you are looking for a book and you want to, actually look at it before buying it, that's definitely the place to go. So she wanted to do that. And then she wanted to go around to different smaller shops and do some shopping around and stuff. So that's what we did. But it was really fun. We both had new experiences. We stayed in this really awesome, quirky hotel that is still very vintage 1915 original. Like it was pretty cool. And
they called me.
I did.
Video chatted. Yes, absolutely.
It was pretty awesome. But it was all about trying something new and different in a different city that I hadn't really hung out in before. I've driven through Portland many times, but never really stopped and like stayed overnight or anything. So it was super fun. So make a day of it.
Yeah. And it was a really nice experience for both of you.
It was.
Yes.
It was.
You guys were exhausted when you got home.
I'm still exhausted. I have not had enough recovery time this weekend because then I got home and then I had more stuff to do. And
you went right in. Your time off was the vacation. You didn't give yourself that day to recover.
Right. But then I was basically driving for 2 days too.
Yeah.
So, but
that's exhausting.
Anyway, it was so exhausting, but I'm so happy I was able to do that because those are memories that we're going to hold for a long time. And, it's nice to be able to do those things.
Yes.
So, anyway,
so that's the overview of Ahimsa.
Ahimsa.
I did it.
You did it.
And saying yes to new experiences.
Yeah, that's it. So say yes to new experiences and be nice about it.
Don't be a butthead.
All right. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us on this week's Mindset Monday. And I guess we'll see you the rest of the week. Yeah. 4 times a week. Check it out. womeninleadershipbsmb.com. Namaste.